Continuing our discussion of annotation, we previously discussed dimensions, and we will further that in a future video. But I want to touch on leaders. And what is a leader? A leader is a call out. It is a item that you want to draw attention to with text. Now I could put a particular text box, but it wouldn't make sense to lay this over. It gets cluttered, and it's not very professional. So the way I do that is with a leader. Now, with anything, like we've discussed before, I want to set up a new layer, and I'm going to call this one leader. You could call it annotation. I'm going to select a color. For this particular one, I don't know, let's pick magenta. Double clicking on the layer makes it current. Now on the home ribbon I have an area here, or I could go to annotate and add a leader. So I'm going to click the multi-leader. As soon as I click, it's going to snap to the point and allow me to enter some text. So I'm just going to say this is a corner. On production drawings, I have kind of typed this in, but you know, it's very professional to use all capital letters. It's not very professional to use lowercase. All right, I'm just going to add another one. So as we start our discussion and as our drawing fills up, we've got kind of an issue here. We have overlapping items. We've got this dimension line, and we have this call out or leader. It's not very professional. It's not very appealing visually to have things overlap. Especially, you know, here it's readily apparent because they're different colors, but when you go to plot and it's black and white, it gets very confusing, and there's not the ability to determine which is which. So we never want to see this right here where there is something overlapping. It's much better, much cleaner here where I've got the witness lines pulled back and the call out in the middle. So if I select this particular unit, I have several grips that I can edit this. It works just like a line, and this is a much cleaner look. Again, I would never want it to be like this. It is overlapping and it's messy, and we only have two called out right now, but once it becomes populated with items, it's going to not look very nice. So never turn in a drawing that looks like this. Now it's going to be a challenge to do this and not have overlaps. So you want to be as careful and plan your drawing as well as possible. Okay. Now, one thing that helps with this particular operation is the ability to add leaders. And we've got one leader on here. We've got text and one segmented line with the arrowhead. Let's say that I need to keep calling these out. And this is the corner. Well, better go back to make sure that my cap's on. Now if I select this, I can add a leader. Now I have two leaders, and again, that's just add a leader. And it is allowed me to add this particular here. Now, if I pull on, if I click this, I have options for moving things around, adjustments. I can also, if I need to, rotate it. Sometimes that is necessary. I have selected this, and just to cover a couple of options, we can change the scale on there. We can also change the size of the arrowhead, the size of the text, and several different options. Okay, so let's say I wanted to change the arrowhead. Maybe it appears too small. Let's say I go to a 0.5. Now look at the arrows compared to here and here. Okay, I'm just going to put them back. But that is the way to adjust it. You also change different aspects of here. Now, one thing to think about is, particularly, you would like to have your callouts outside of the object. Let's pretend this is a slab. We want the slab to be open if possible, which means that there's nothing cluttering the inside up. Now, it doesn't always work that way. There may be too much going on the outside, and we need to dimension or call out something on the inside. But again, if all practical purposes, try to keep the inside open. So in this video, we've covered how to add leaders and then add different leaders to our call out. This does not have to be an arrow. You can have circles. You can have no end on it, several different options, and you can look at all of it here. And annotated just means that it changes size based on the annotation scale. Okay.